Hello everyone and welcome to this Python programming course. My name is Ravi and I will be your instructor throughout this course. Whether you are a complete beginner with no programming experience or someone who wants to strengthen their fundamentals, this course is designed for you. Thank you for your joining me today. I hope you are excited because we are about to begin an amazing journey into the world of programming using Python. Before we begin learning Python, let me briefly explain what this course is all about. Like we already know, programming is one of the most valuable skills in the today's world. Almost every modern technology you can think about uses programming, whether it is like your mobile applications, like YouTube, on which this YouTube you are watching on your mobile. YouTube is a mobile application. This uses programming. Mobile applications, like your social media platforms, which comes under only mobile applications, and also websites, also social media websites. Your online banking, where you keep your funds safe. Online banking, these also use programming, whether it is Java programming, Python. It uses programming, not like specifically Python programming, but they use programming of other like Java programming. Mostly banks use Java and other smart devices that you can use in your daily lives. Learning programming is important. It is important because it opens the door to many exciting career opportunities. Like you can become a developer in a big MNC companies and grab a high package. And it also helps you develop logical thinking in your and enhances your problem solving skills. Logical thinking, I write it down. In this course, our primary focus will be Python programming. I will be teaching you Python programming throughout this course. So Python, you already know, I think, about Python. Python is one of the most popular programming languages in the world. It is widely used. Mostly, it is used in like here I forgot to get the point. Mostly, it is used in AI ML. Mostly, it is used in AI ML. Vastly used in AI ML. We can say one of the biggest reason I say to you about the Python's popularity, like it is very easy to use, extremely easy to use compared to other complex languages like C++, Java. It is very easy and readable. You can readable syntax like almost looks like English. Basic Python almost looks like English. Unlike many other programming languages, Pythons allow us to focus on solving problems instead of worrying about complicated systems. This is the main reason why Python is so popular in the world. Now talk about our course. In this course, we will learn Python step by step. We don't directly jump to the advanced topics. Instead, we will begin with our basics. Strengthen our basics is very much important in almost every field of life. Okay, so and we understand each concept carefully, practice with examples, and gradually move towards more advanced programming concepts. So from basic to intermediate and then advanced. We will not directly deep dive into advanced, some basic advanced things we will learn in this course. Let me give you a quick review of we will what you will learn in this course. Firstly, we will understand what programming is and what is the need of programming languages. Why human created programming languages. Then we will study about Python, Python fundamentals, like your basic statements and variables, data types, operators, and expressions. After that, we will learn about your conditional statements like your if, else if, etc. Okay, and we will learn to how to repeat tasks efficiently using loops. By loops, you can do one thing multiple times without writing the code. Like it also helps to like reduce redundancy in the code. That's why use loops. We will study that later in the upcoming lectures. We will also learn how to repeat tasks efficiently using loops. That's why what I said. Later in this course, we will study strings, lists, tuples, sets, dictionaries, functions, modules, file handling, exception handling, and object-oriented programming. Finally, we will apply everything we have learned and make a small project or practical and solve practical programs. This course is designed in a very practical way. Every concept will be explained with examples and solved, and we will also solve the exercises. After understanding the theory, we will also write the Python programs together. I advise you not just to watch the video. Please open your code editor and solve the programs. Otherwise, you will stuck in the tutorial hell, which mostly people are stuck. And the more you practice, the more you become in Python. So by the end of this course, you will have a strong understanding of the Python programming fundamentals, and you are at the intermediate level of Python. Because of that, you will be able to write Python, your own Python programs, solving Python programming problems, and build projects with confidence. So let's now we have this overview of this course. Let's begin with the important questions. What is programming? What is programming? Before learning Python or any other programming language, it is important to understand the meaning of programming itself. What does the programming word means? Many people think programming is just simply writing code on a computer. No, it is just not limited on that. While coding is certainly part of programming, programming is much more than writing that code. Imagine you have a robot standing in front of you. The robot is very powerful, but has one limitation. It cannot think on its own. It cannot make decision by itself. It only follows the instruction that you provide. If you give any instruction, the robot will simply do nothing. Computers work in almost the same way. A computer is extremely fast and capable of performing millions of calculations every second, but it cannot think like a human being. It only executes the instruction given by the programmer only. So, in a summary, you can say programming is like giving instruction to the computer, giving instruction to the computer. Now think about some of the application that you use every day. For example, WhatsApp. When you send a message, the application delivers it to another person like almost instantly. You see the blue tick appears if a person sees them. Almost instantly it happens if you have a like decent internet speed is happens instantly. Similarly when you open YouTube and search for a video, thousands of videos appears in a second, in a like, fraction of seconds it appears if you have a decent internet connection speed. So how does this happen? And how this is happening how so many videos are coming without again like this is the power of programming. One example you can also take where when you withdraw money from ATM, the machine verifies your PIN, checks your account balance, and processes your transaction. So the answer is simple. They all works because of the programs have written instructions for the computer to work like this only. Programming is the process of designing and writing those instructions so that a computer can perform a special test. Like you give a computer a task to add two integers, then you have to give like you have to assign firstly the memory to that integer, the variable. Then you have to like print like the integer 1 plus integer 2. Then computer provides the output, the sum of the integers. So the instruction we gave according to that, uh, the machine gives the output. So let us understand, this is a very simple real life example. Like you all drink tea. You cannot simply you are making a cup of tea. You cannot simply like think of making a tea and you can get tea. You follow a sequence of steps. Firstly, you boil the water, then add the tea leaves, add sugar, add milk, and after doing these steps, you boil for a few minutes and you will get your tea. If you skip one of the steps, the tea will be spoiled and it will not be like drinkable also. Okay, so this is why everything is should be written by step, otherwise it will not work. Same happens with the computer also. One important thing to remember is that programming is not only about writing code. Good programmers spend a lot of time thinking before they start coding. Like they write pseudocode. Pseudocode is a like we say rough code of the not. This code does not actually follow the sequence, follow the syntax. Sorry, of the real programming language syntax. This is like a rough code which executes the logic only. It is only just for the understanding purpose only. Firstly, most programmers firstly understand the questions, then they plan the solutions, and they write the pseudocode. Then they convert the pseudocode into the machine into the programming language syntax, and then they solve the problem. As you continue this course, don't only focus on memorizing Python syntax. Instead, try to understand the logic behind every program. Most people do this mistake. They only try to cram the logic only. Once your logic thinking becomes strong, learning every programming language becomes much easier than you think. Now we understand what programming is. The next question naturally becomes, how do we communicate with a computer? As you already know, computer only works in the language of 10100011. Only the two digits 1 and 0. So we will in the next section of this lecture we will study about which language does a computer understand. I will tell you. You already know the name. Mostly people know. We call this binary language. So unlike humans, where in case of humans, communicates in like various languages: Hindi, English, Tamil, Bengali, or like you say foreign languages also like French, Japanese. But this, in case of computer, they only work in the language of 1 or 0. We also say that in binary language, they only they understand only the instruction in the binary language only. Whether you are watching a YouTube video, playing a game, using WhatsApp, or opening a website, deep inside the computer, everything is represented as sequence of zeros and ones. Now, imagine or try to imagine you write the whole application in 1 and 0. Imagine it will be so vast and complex to understand. There will be only one zeros. Not everyone can understand the logic. That's why we made the these programming languages so that we can easily give instructions to the computer. Otherwise, it is very difficult. So, for the definition, you can say that a programming language is a language that allows humans to write instructions in a simple and understandable forms. In simple and understandable form, focus on these words. Instead of writing binary numbers, we write meaningful words and statements. These instructions are then translated, you could say by decoder, I think, that are translated into the machine language so the computer can understand and execute them. Let's understand with real life examples. Imagine you are traveling to another country where people speak only Japanese, like Japan. You only know English. If you want to communicate with someone there, you need a translator or a mediator. You speak in English, that translator converts your message into Japanese language. The other person understands it and responds. Again, the translator converts the another person message into your language, that is English. By this way, you are able to communicate through the people. We write program using language such as Python, Java, or C++. Then there is a special software such as interpreter or a compiler that translates our code into machine languages. Finally, the computer executes those instructions. It is a very long process, but I have told you in a simple way. Let's take example. Before that, you should open your Visual Studio Code and uh, Firstly, we open a Visual Studio Code and then try to write our first Python program. So just made a quick Python file like first dot py. You can make a file by this plus icon, you say, and write print hello world, print hello world, and you can run it. You can say we get our output hello world. So how this works? Firstly, the we understand what we have written. You see, the computer cannot directly understand the whole statement you have written. Print. Firstly, print is a by default function which is in the Python language. So I give you an example or a statement you can say in the Python by which you can understand how like it's a simple Python statement. You already heard, I think. If you are not a beginner, you have already heard print statement. I will also show you on the code later, but here I am show you like for the viewing purpose only. Hello world. So in this statement, hello world, what is print? What is hello? What is world? Only you know. The machine can't understand these words. As I previously said you, machine only understand these ones and zeros only. Machine can't understand these print state print function, the hello, the world. So how does computer understand? As I previously said to you, computers like these instructions are converted into machine language by the help of interpreter. But mainly Python uses interpreter. Interpreter. Basically, interpreter interpret each line of the Python file and converts it into the machine language. These instructions are then machine language instructions are computed by a computer processor, and finally we see the output on the screen. This process happens so quickly that we don't even notice it. It is like in the fraction of milliseconds only. There are many programming languages available today. There are like hundreds to 500s of programming languages available. But the most popular, I tell you, like the first we are in Python or C, the most oldest you can say, C++, upgraded version of C, Java, mostly used in banks. I told you, bank or enterprise, uh, enterprise apps use Java. JavaScript used in mostly web developments. C hash, also a version of C. Go used in cloud platforms, and Rust. People usually used in backend, but can be used in anywhere also. So by that you can say that Python, all Python except and other programming have its own strengths and weakness. What is best in their way, we use in that way only. However, the basic goal of every programming language is the same: to help the humans with the computers efficiently. At this point, you might have a question: if there are so many languages, variety of languages, why we are learning Python, not the C, C++, Java, JavaScript? What what Python makes so popular? As I already said you, it is readable and have a very easy syntax. So I have already given you these answers. We will explore these questions in detail also in the upcoming in this lecture only in the upcoming time. So let's have a quick recap of this section. And as I already told you, computer only understand the language of 0 and 1. But writing in binary is difficult. So we made these languages which interprets or compiles into the machine language, or machine language, or binary language, you can say, and computer understand this language and gives the output. So let's finally talk about the Python. What is Python? The main question arises: what is Python? For the definition, I can say to you, Python is a high-level interpreted general programming language. Here you highlight the word interpreted. Not all languages are interpreted. So you may get confused what is a compiler-based language or which is interpreter-based language. Okay, which is like designed to simple. It is mainly designed so that it is easily readable. Which in the case of C++, it is hard, but in Python, it is very like easy to understand. At first, these terms like high level, interpreted, general purpose may sound unfamiliar. Don't worry, we will understand in this lecture. Not a problem. So let's begin with our first term. What is high level? High level la- language. So in simple language, our high level language uses simple words, clean syntax, and making programmer easy to understand. It has easy syntax and consists of like alphabetic, like your English like words. Okay, compared to the binary I already told you, it uses only zero and ones. So now I already told you high level. It is in the like basic terms, not in the high level term. Or in the more detailized told, I can say that a high level language is a language which is least closer to the like kernel. You can say the hardware of the computer with least close. Matlab, so that you can say the C, which is very close to the computer, it has a it can call a low level or mid level language. Okay, so let us understand what is interpreted language means. So interpreted language. So you may say that what is interpreted compile? Both words are same. No, it's not the same. In interpreted language, before computer can execute a program, it must understand it. So it is done by using a interpreter. Firstly, it understands what you have written and then runs it on the main hardware. The interpreter reads the program line by line. It is very line by line. Whereas the compiler compiles the whole file, it interpreter interprets line by line, line by line commit. That's why it's a reason it is a bit slow. It is a bit slow, but it makes Python easy to debug because we can quickly identify errors. If we got an error in a one line, interpreter can easily identify. That's why it is easy to debug also. Although Python is a general programming language, it is can be used for many purposes. Despite of its uh, general programming language, it is can be used in many fields. For example, you can build Python for using websites also. By the various Python frameworks, you can make websites. Like mostly Python is used in backend, and you can also use Python for artificial intelligence, as Python as Python has the most library support. Because of its library support, that's why it is mostly used in artificial intelligence, or you can say machine learning. It is also used in making softwares, and you will also like make the scripts of cyber securities. So this flexibility of Python makes it a like multi-purpose programming language. So we can say it is a multi-purpose programming language. The most greatest strength of Python is its easy readability and its simplicity. Imagine we simply want to display a message. In Python, we only need one line of code, that is print. You need you need hello world inside. You want to print hello world. You have to only put the hello world inside print function. Just this only. This one statement can print hello world, which is far more difficult in other languages, as you know. This code is very short, clean, and very easy to understand. Even who have never knew the P of programming, they can also understand what is the meaning of this statement. So the function, this is a function I will tell you later. The function is a inbuilt function. Print is inbuilt function of Python. I will tell you about functions in the later lectures. This is just for the reference with the print game, so I told you inbuilt function because it is previously built. Like who made Python, they have already made this inbuilt function print. So you may ask the question why Python was designed this way, why it is not designed like the C++, why it is try to make it more readable and not make like C++, so we can increase the speed also because of this. The answer lies in its design philosophy. Python was created with the idea that code should be easy to read and understand, which makes the programmer only thinks about the logic, not and not about the syntax of the language. If code is clear and readable, it becomes much easier to maintain, debug, and improve also. So is debugging is easy in Python. That's why it is designed in way. As I already told you in the first few minutes, Python is a widely used programming language in the world. It is taught in schools, colleges, universities, and coding bootcamps. Beginners use Python because it is easy to learn. Professionals use Python because it is powerful and versatile. As a result, Python has become one of the most in-demand programming languages in the software industry. As you know, the AI era is going on, and most of the AI models are made up upon Python only. Python libraries like PyTorch, etc. libraries are there, and they are made upon that only. That's why Python is in a high demand in this AI era. So now we have the basic understanding of Python, what Python is. We already know it is a high level language, interpreted language, and a general purpose programming language. We also know that it is a simple, readable, and widely used across different industries. So, is you have like some questions in your mind? What makes Python different from other language? We already answered in the previous upcoming lectures. So, then I take a quick recap of these sections. You may try to learn that Python is a high level language and an interpreted language. These two terms are very important to learn. It is also a general purpose language or sometimes and used for multiple things in different industries. These are small things that you might try to remember. Now let's move to some detailed analysis of the applications in Python. What are the applications? Means what are the aspects of Python? In which aspects the Python is used? So let's simply take the basic thing that is web development. Most people pursue web development. In web development, Python, I just write also in our first is web development. So you know already behind every website there are the backend that manage users data, the website security, and all the processing requests. Python is widely used in making these backends. Frameworks like there are some of the frameworks like Django, Django, and Flask, which is used to make backends. The main reason people use these frameworks for making the backends are that they are more secure and like building is fast in these building is fast with these frameworks. If your goal is become the web developer, Python is the best choice for the backend. However, you will use JavaScript in the front end, but in the backend you can use Python. In the data science, the second application and the second most widely used application of Python is data science. Today, organized organizations like Google, big organizations generate big amount of data. We also this data is also known as big data, and it is generated every second. TVs, zettabytes, TVs of data is generated every seconds, and the data should be analyzed properly. That's why Python provides a good library support for these data engineering. So here is also it is used wisely. The main purpose it for users in data science like it help to clean data, visualize data, and analyze data. These are the main applications where in data science where Python can be used. Now move to our next artificial intelligence. Currently, it is boom in artificial intelligence and machine learning. As we already you use ChatGPT or Gemini. These are all their models, AI models. So Python is basically used to train these AI models. So artificial intelligence and ML. We call it machine learning also. So what is the requirement of Python in machine language? So like Python in artificial intelligence enables computers to perform tasks like the human does. Machine learning allows computers to learn from data instead of being explicitly programmed. Like the machine can learn when you provide the data to a machine, it can learn from its output. Like whether the data, how is data, it can learn from the data and can perform the actions based on that data. Therefore, Python, because of the library support of Python, it is widely used in these industries. Now, coming to the automation, here also Python is very largely used here because if you have to rename 1,000 files or You have to like send the email to hundreds of people. Here the Python scripts works and makes our works automated. That's why in automation they are also used uh, widely used. Python is also used widely among cybersecurity. As I already told you, uh, cybersecurity is also a main part for the development of the software. So here also for identifying the vulnerabilities in the software, people use Python. Also for testing purpose, also Python is used in cybersecurity. So cyber security. Here it is also used widely. Now coming to the game development, where you have played uh, games. Some games can be developed by Python also. However, it is not that fast. Mostly games are based made on C++ based things. But a Python library which is known as Pygame helps to make games. As as Python as Python is easier, that's why people can gain experience for game development in that. Now coming to the desktop applications, some some note-taking applications are also made by Python, like calculator, media players, and management systems can also be created by Python only. Frameworks are used in desktop apps. Framework are used mostly are React, Tint, and PyQt. These are frameworks which are mostly used in making desktop apps. So let's give you a short summary. If we look around the world, Python is everywhere. It powers AI system. It helps us to analyze data, visualize data, help us to make games, desktop apps, and many other things used to test software. It is you can say already everywhere in every cycle of web development, in every cycle of web development. That makes the motivation for the developers to use Python. That's why it is widely popular. It is I think the main reason for the popularity of the Python. Now come to the history of the Python. The history of Python started from 1980s. History, history of Python. In 1980, uh, one person named Guido van Rossum. I like the spellings. Guido van Rossum is it? He was a Dutch programmer, and Python was made by him only. The first version was made by Python was by him only. So for the Guido van Rossum, he wanted to develop a programming language that was simple, readable, and enjoyable to use. That's why he made Python programming language. At that time, many programming languages were powerful, but they were also complex for beginners. It was hard for a beginner to continue with that languages. With this idea, he created a language which was easier to read and easier to understand. So when was Python was released? The Python was released in 1 year after in 1981. In 1981, Python was released, and after three decades, still it is most widely used in the world. Why? So let's come to the name Python. Why the language name was made Python, not any other name? So many people assume that the Python name was made because of the snake name Python, but is actually not true. The name actually comes from a British comedy television show called Monty Python's Flying Circus. The come from this comedy television show. Guido van Rossum enjoyed this show very much and wanted a name that was too short, unique, and easy to remember. That's why they gave the Python name. And that's how Python got its name, Python. Now, despite the name, Python has nothing to do with business, obviously. For Python's growth over the years, Python continued to improve as technology evolved. Many versions of Python have made and additional libraries and performance was improved in Python. It was also taught in schools, universities, and coding bootcamps. Today, Python is trusted by millions of developers worldwide because of its readability and simplicity. Apart from that, we can also learn a lesson from the Python history, like great things does or not always from the most complicated things. It can come from various simple things also, and also it was can make things successful also, as Python is successful. So now, after completing this all history and Python about Python, now it's time to move to the some practical knowledge and time to write our first Python program. So in the first video of the playlist, I have already told you how to install Python in VS Code and how to like install Python in VS Code and how to connect to it and run your program. So by watching that video, you can easily install Python and run your program. So from here, I am opening my code editor, Visual Studio Code, or you can use any other code editor. Or there are many code editor, and you can uh, like you use these code editors for your. But I only use Python. So uh, the most exciting part of the lecture is write our first program. So just we opens our Visual Studio Code and here I have previously made a Python file first.py. So I will tell you how to make it from the initial state. Let me first delete this. So here this interface will come when you install the Python in the VS Code. Here is my folder name Python course. So from here I will click on this icon and make my new file. That would be first dot py, and this interface will come to you. So let's type our first Python statement, that is print. The Visual Studio will give you hints about what you are writing. Print hello world. So this it's already done. Because of this simple readability, only this code can print hello world. Okay, so by this run code icon, I can simply click on it, and you can see that uh, the hello world has already printed here. So now let's understand what is this statement means. So the first word which is written here is print. So as I previously told you, print is an inbuilt function. It is inbuilt function in the Python. It is mainly used to like print things. on the terminal inform and on the screen, whichever screen will be. And this is this is a string, a data type which is was printed here. Strings in Python are like written between double quotes, so you can remember this. Then where come from? Let me take out what is parenthesis. So parenthesis we use for the function here, as print is a function. So the hello world is passed as the uh, we can say parameter here in the function, and it is enclosed in the post quotation mark, or you can say double quotes. We also say it's a the string. I already told you the data type which represents the textual data. Okay. Now, if we write something else here, we could write, or we can take the next line and write print, and we write here Python and run it. So we can see both code is ran. Firstly, hello there, and in next line it is written Python. So you can notice one thing that it when we use two print statements, the another statement will print on the next line, not on the same line. However, you can change this by the following methods I will tell you in the upcoming lectures. Now, let me print two or three more print statements in this, like what I can print now. Print my first Python program. You can see same result. All three are displayed on the terminal with skipping one line. Hello world, then Python, and then my first Python program. Now let's display some numbers also. Why not numbers? So let's just read this and print one. If you try to run this, you will get the output one in the terminal screen. And the same rules follows if you like print here 100. So the same rule as follow for a string. One one line will be skipped, and 100 will be there. Let you can like one important notice you can like take here that uh, the numbers, if we enclose these numbers in quotation marks, now the first one is not a number, it's a string. The first number is string, however it is print like number, but the first number is string and the other is number. So uh, you should remember not to put the quotation mark when you are trying to print a number. We will further discuss it when discussing data type data. Now we can also print strings and numbers in one print statement also. Like if I try to print age and then this is one string, then I will put comma, and here I can write whatever age, like I should write 20, and I will run that. Then you can see here both things have come in same line, not on the separate line. So uh, you can see that if you put comma and two things in one, you can get it on the same line. And we can also put multiple things here also. If we write 20 and we put quotation mark and then 15, you can print multiple things also, not just two things, age 20 and 50. It will print like this only. Actually, Python formats the output in the readable way. So at this stage, don't worry if the program looks so simple here. Every HTML program start a program just like this. Do not worry. As we move forward in the course, we will gradually write more advanced programs step by step, and you will learn how to solve real world problems by Python. Okay. So just a little advice: beginning of a make while writing code. So just see what you are writing in the editor. So let's come to some of the error selection keyboard errors does beginners do in Python. So firstly, I will give you a congratulations. You have wrote your first Python program. You have got the knowledge about the print statement, which is an inbuilt function print, which is an inbuilt function. So before we end today's lecture, there are some more things that I would like to discuss, like about the errors that I have previously talked about that beginners do. So, I will give you some of the examples of the errors. Like the main is that uh, errors are completely normal. If you are getting errors, no need to get tense about it. It is completely normal. In fact, every programmer, whether it is a beginner, intermediate, or an experienced programmer, they always everyone get errors. No problem with that. So, in this program, what error can I get if I skip this parenthesis? The head is also the parenthesis was not closed. If I run this program, I will get an error and see what error I have get. See syntax error. If we write the syntax wrong, we get the syntax error, and here it is saying like the parenthesis was never closed. That's why I'm getting here is my line number on which line I got my error. If I close this and then if I remove the quotation here and then run that same syntax error undetermined string literal stated at line 1 because string literal is not determined from till which the string is ending. It is not determined. That's why it is giving an error. And it happens because any string should be enclosed in quotation marks. If it is started with quotation mark and does not ending, it will definitely give error. So the next mistakes that people often do is writing the spellings wrong. How this is an inbuilt function, like it should be same as it is defined. Like you cannot write here PRNT. Here always PRNT is not defined. It is an extension. Because of this, it is showing here. If you put it, it says that name PRNT is not defined. Did you mean print? So this identity is not identified. It's not identifier. Okay. So if you use I print, then no error will be there. Okay. If you and also if you like, there are also types of I will tell you later about the variables naming also. For the case sensitivity, if you write I here but in capital, or if you write P in capital, okay, P R print, where P is capital. However, it means the same print, but I told you the Python language is case sensitive. Case sensitive. The big alphabet key and small alphabet key doesn't mean the same. So here this also gives an error. Name P is not defined. So these are the mistakes that people do. You can also not write here all capital. This is also wrong. It is also not work. See, name parent is not defined. So you should always write the function name at how it is defined. So we will write in small case, lower case, or you can say. Although you should also learn how to read the this error message. So if you learn how to read the error message, debug will be very easy for you. Here, this name is wrong, name error, print is not defined, print is actually not defined. That's why it is giving an error. So read it slowly and understand where you are lacking and debug the code there. So a little piece of advice I want to give that programming is difficult, a little bit difficult, but it gives us an opportunity to learn new things. Every error teaches you something. The more errors you solve, the better programmer you become. In programming, making mistakes are not a sign of failure. It's a part of learning process. You should trust the process and should continue. The continuity should be there. Otherwise, you will fail definitely. Now, just I give you a quick recap about the errors. That please write this function name right. String should be enclosed in quotation marks. Parentheses of a function should be closed after giving all uh, parameters. Okay, so these are the some error points you should like learn. And now I want to give some of my the lecture summary of the whole lecture we have studied if, so far. So before we end today's lecture, let's revise some things that we have uh, studied from the starting. So we started the lectures by what programming is. So programming is giving instructions to the computer. You know, it is a set of instructions, or you can say set of instructions giving giving set of instructions to the computer. Okay. Since computers can't make decisions on their own, we have to give instructions and they give us the output. Then we learn about the programming language. Computers only understands the binary languages. They can't understand the print, hello, world. They can't understand this. So the interpreter or the compiler, based upon which type of language, the compiler or interpreter or compiler is there to convert it into the machine language code or the binary language. Okay. Then I have talked you about Python. Like Python is interpreted language. However, Python interpreted language because interpreter is used in it. Every line of code is interpreted line by line. Whereas in compiler, code file is compile at once. In high, it is a high level language as it is a easy syntax construct English like words. Like print statement. Print is an English word, and it is close to the hardware, and it is easy to debug. Python is also used in backend. This is like some application you can say. Artificial intelligence. Here is our first statement of the print statement. Now we're here. After that, we have also learned about the detailed analysis of uh, the applications of Pythons. That was web development. So the web development actually. Python is using backend in development only. So frameworks like Django and Flask help to build it more secure and building it fast. Actually, it is B, not F. So it is used here in backend. Okay. Then in data science, we have learned how Python is used in data science for cleaning data, visualization of data, and analyze of data. As there is big data, company produce terabytes of data in every second. Then in artificial intelligence and machine learning, to train models, mostly Python is used, and the libraries of Python like PyTorch are used here. Okay, in cybersecurity, the Python is used so to run scripts so that make the system more secure, and for the testing purpose also, Python is used there. Pygame helps to make games easier. Also, in game development, you can say Python is used. Desktop apps, in here desktop apps, frameworks are used like Tinker and PyQt. Simple desktop apps like Media Player and Calculator. So after that, we have studied the history of Python. In the 1980s, Guido van Rossum made Python. He was a Dutch programmer. In 1981, he released it. Python was released in 1981. And after that, we have learned about how Python, what was the about the our first program in Python, that was print. We have printed uh, print. Hello world. This was our first program in Python, which we have written. We have then talked about the print function, why we use parentheses in that, because it's a function, and anything enclosed in the quotation mark or the double quotes is a string. Where we also learned that. We have also learned to print numbers also, like one. Then we learned to print multiple things in one print statement, like age, and then 2032. And here we ended our lecture. So if you are taking it a little bit deeper, no need to worry. You will, by the regular practice and patience, you will can uh, conquer it. It's not that hard language; it's an easy language. So that brings end to our today's lectures. In the next lecture, uh, we will talk about some new topics, and I will give you some like some of the basic problems, little bit basic problems in the next lecture also. So if I give you on this lecture also some problems, little bit problems. So let's give you some practice assignment. So the practice assignment is you have to print in the terminal Python Python programming. The assignment two is that was one. That was one. Now second assignment is you have to you have to use print statement two times, and you have to write my name is John, and in the next line you have to print I am learning Python. You are looking like John Doe, full name. So you have to write this in assignment 3. You have to compile three sentences, like whatever your mind takes you that you have to compile three sentences in three different lines. In assignment 4, you should explore, try to remove parentheses, analyze the error message that come into the terminal screen, and read that, search about it, research about that, and by this, let's end our lecture. And for the next lecture, we will learn about some of the variables, identifiers, keywords, comments, how to put comments, input and outputs functions, inputs and output functions, basic syntax. Output for I have told you that it was print. Input I will tell you in the next lecture. Already I told you that output one. Basic syntax that is used. I will also tell you about the indexing, indexation, not indexing, indentation. So thank you so much for joining today's session, and you have gained a message, clear explanation about the Python, I think. So just complete the assignment and be prepared for the next lecture. And once again, thank you for watching. Have a nice day. Goodbye, everyone.